Hello, chapsters. Chapsters. Okay, let's turn this back on me. And the book. And today we're going to be in Greg Huffman's book report, not Dreadseb. This isn't a Dreadseb review, bitches. It's Greg Huffman's book report. We're going to be talking about John Green's Looking for Alaska. And you know what I'm going to hold it up a little bit longer. What kind of threw me off, this one almost seems to, like a lot of John Green books, not that there's shit in here that's not corny, but I actually find this a little bit, I think this was his first book, it was 2008 he wrote this. It's a little bit less corny than a lot of his books. There's a little opening to the wall. Yeah, there's nothing in there. It's a little bit less corny, I think, than a lot of his books. It seems to be so far. Still has, it's young adult, still kind of corny, but it's kind of weird, it's his first book. You'd think he'd be less corny over time, but I guess not. What I thought was, because it's at least famously known, I believe, about John Green that he hates smoking. And just as you see on the cover, this puff of smoke, it represents kind of the characters. There's Alaska Young, and now I can't even remember the name. I think it was by Miles. I don't think they mention his name a lot. Do they? Miles? Hold on, let me look in the notes. These are all the Miles Halter. There it is. He goes by Pudge. These are some of the notes I made. I don't know if they have spoilers or not. Culver Creek, that's the name of his place. Takumi, that's one of the people. They call it McDonald's McEdible. But anyway, the kid, he's always just like one of the tropes. Oh, I zoomed too far. One of the tropes, it seems, of a John Green book is they have this kid who's into this navel gazing activity, like this obsession or hobby, and the other one, which was the one with anagrams, wasn't Paper Towns. I already did read that one, but The Abundance of Catherines, the main character in that one, the protag, was really into anagrams where he just moves shit around. This kid, he's really into last words. Like, he'll turn to the end of a memoir and just find the last words and memorize that. He just kind of likes last words. I wrote down two of them, just to give an example. Like, he talks about General John Sedgwick, who was a Union officer. Was it officer? No, it literally just said goddamn General. General John Sedgwick of the Union. And he was saying when, I guess they were, his army was worried about him getting hit. He's like, they couldn't hit an elephant at this distance and they get shot. Good last words. He says the Union, it seems to have the... Was it the Union has the best last word? I can't remember. God damn it, I gotta remember that. Nah, it don't matter. But, oh yeah, and one of the opening, it's constantly referenced. There's like, I'll just say this one, for instance. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I was trying to tie it into another story, but I realized I wasn't for sure the details of his other stories. Where, there's always a concept that's continued. And in this one, it's this phrase, I go to seek the great perhaps, which is a quote, the last words, apparently, of Francois Rabelais, who lived around, I think he died in 1553. Oh yeah, and then also, Alaska, she says she's trying to figure out what the labyrinth is. In this book, Simon Bolivar. Was that Simon Bolivar? I guess it was Simon Bolivar's last words, but I think the book was somewhat fictionalized. Anyway, yeah. Then she was the one that apparently... They have this cook at school named Maureen, and she comes up with this buffriata. It's supposed to be fried burrito, but isn't that just a chimichanga? But not chimichanga because it has it's bread in. Yeah. And I wrote down some of the different characters. Chip Martin, that's his roomie. They go by the Colonel. You'll hear him a lot. That's his little sidekick. Figures things out with Mr. Starnes, the Eagle. He's always doing this doom stare at them. Kevin Richmond, who's one of the kids who they prank back and forth. Longbow Chase, blah, blah, blah. Is there any other things I need to really focus on in here that I made notes about? Oh, yeah, it talks about her mom that wanted him to have the name Harmony Springs and Mary Frances. Alaska. What's the sea breaks against? That which the sea breaks against. Strike the tent. That's supposed to be the last words of, what's his name? Anyway. Oh, I found I think I lost this for a while, but I found my bookmark. Isn't it beautiful? It says Greg on it. I think Chelsea's mom made this. So it's kind of cool that I have my own little personalized bookmark. It's always beautiful. Let me read this so I don't... Oh, let's read. General John Sedgwick. Oh yeah, there's white tapes. Alright, so... Anyway, yeah, they actually have the character Smoke. Alaska says she wants to smoke because she wants to die. But the main character, I didn't think would actually pick up smoking. But he does. He's like, I'm gonna fucking just start smoking. And just shit like that. I'm not, well, let me see. So, now I have to figure out if I want to, I'm going to try to avoid spoiling it. I'm going to show some passages that, out of context, it might not be spoilers, but I'm just going to say, you know, if you are worried about spoiling the book here, yeah, you probably click off. But I'm not going to try to spoil it too much, but it's going to give a little, you know, if you look at the passages, you're going to figure it out. But so far, I like the book. I'm about into page 175. You can see my place. I try not to finish these, just to like to give kind of my feelings while I'm reading it. And so I won't know. We just won't include the ending because I don't know how it ends. And so if there's a bigger twist, there's a halfway point major twist that I wasn't expecting. But maybe because it's John Green, the cool thing about him is, I think it's cool that he lures you in with his kind of goofiness. He's like this goofy nerd, but he has this darkness in some of his stories. And so when you mix those, I kind of like that. Because I like shit that starts off kind of light and all of a sudden, oh fuck, there's like a fucking, somebody's getting stabbed in the brain, you know. And it's not quite like that, but I just like those kind of twists. Like that when you get like a tone shift. I love a tone shift when you set something, you know, where it's chill and something crazy shit happens. That's beautiful. Don't get enough of that. I try to do that in one of my stories. Well, I won't get into that. So, yeah, and halfway through, I'm about to show passages, but about halfway through, you get a major twist. And especially if you see the title, it's kind of like it subverts expectations, because what you think Looking for Alaska is, it's not exactly. So, that's all I'll say. Like I said, I already gave you a spoiler warning, but, you know, yeah, let's just get to the passages. So, I'm going to cut here, and then we're going to start looking at some of the passages from the book. Alright, here's an example of John Green being his corny self. He's talking about, hang on, this is Alaska talking about, I'm totally comfortable, and we're just chatting, and then I'm in the middle of a sentence about analogies or something, and like a hawk, he reaches down and honks my boob. Honk! A much too firm 2 to 3 second honk. And the first thing I thought was, okay, how do I extricate this claw from my boob before it leaves permanent marks? And the second thing I thought was, God, I can't wait to tell Takumi and the Colonel. Well, he laughed. She talks about how, so she's curvy. She's petite and curvy. But God, curvy. They're gigantic. She has books a lot. Blah, blah, blah. I was just really showing that. Who's the guy that's not laughing? It's a very funny story. So, alright, anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, she's definitely like a, you know, an info, I guess you could say. But it's like, why is it, you know, I don't know, like, what's the whole thing about getting your tit honked? And, like, I've got to tell everybody I got my fucking tit honked. I don't know, it seems corny. So, I guess, whatever, let's go to page 19. Hold on. I wasn't gonna, I didn't know this was part, it was here, but he talks about that. This is where she's quoting about Simon Bolivar. Simon Bolivar, we're shaking by the old loving feeling. Oh, let's turn this fucker. Okay. Damn it, he sighed, how will I ever get out of this labyrinth? Which is interesting. I remember I ran across a biography of Simon Bolivar, but I haven't read it yet. Oh, maybe I should. That would be kind of cool. Alright, here's what threw me off guard, though. And I could see little more than her silhouette, except for when she smoked, when the burning cherry of the cigarette washed her face in pale red lights. That threw me off because spam. That threw me off because he's almost romanticizing cigarette smoking to an extent there, or the cigarette. Like I said, maybe it's a later John Green thing where he, like, you know, for instance, in a lot of his stories, he shits on smoking, which is alright, it's fair enough. It's bad for your health, cancer sticks, you know. But And what's that other? I'm trying to remember. The Fault in Our Stars. You know, it has fucking Augustus Waters like holding a cigarette. It's like, I just hold the cigarette there, I don't smoke. And, you know, that's where you have your power. It's like, I put this thing that puts me near death. You know, blah 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 blah. Just made me think of that. Smoked. Oh yeah, where is this? Where she says? All right, here. Where she says specifically, you know, fucking romanticizing young death. And said, y'all smoke to enjoy it, I smoke to die. Yeah. Now, yeah, here's where it counts down to the twist. 109 days before. And then you guys are free to figure out what is going to happen. Imagine the future is coming. Oh, yeah, okay. Page 54. There's a cool quote I thought was really interesting. Where is it? In the middle of the page. Alright, I was reading something, and I couldn't tell at first whether she was reading my kiss-obsessed mind or responding to herself out loud. She turned away from me and softly, maybe to herself, said, Jesus, I'm not going to be one of those people who sits around talking about what they're going to do. I'm just going to do it. Imagining the future is a kind of nostalgia. Man, that resonates with me, just the whole thing about, I don't want to be one of those people who are talking about what they want to do, man, because I have like this friend, I won't point you out in the comments, or not, you know, point you out in the video, and then you can reference yourself in the comments. Probably doesn't not even watch this or know what I'm talking about. But I have a friend that's like, yeah, one day we'll do that. And I'm like, you motherfucker. I was like, one day never comes, man. You just got to do it. Nah, I've been trying, you know, I've had a decent amount. I used to be afraid, you know, adventure in life. I think my adventures are starting to dwindle a little bit, but I just want to go out there and do it, man. I used to just drive around. I remember one day I woke up with it's back at the end of 2018, man. I had a fucking mental breakdown. I just drove from Tennessee all the way to Bakersfield. It wasn't like one night or anything, but I ended up, you know, in Bakersfield, California. Yeah, and just started driving because I was like, fuck this shit. I don't want to be here, you know. So anyway, let's see. I think there's some more stuff here. You spend your whole life stuck in the labyrinth, thinking about how you'll escape it one day and how awesome it will be. Imagining that future keeps you going, but you never do it. You just use the future to escape the present. You just use the future to escape the present. So I think that's a pretty good passage. I wouldn't be surprised if that's in like Goodreads' quotes on this book. I was actually looking at his. I'm gonna flip to the next pages while I'm doing this haste. But shit, now I suck at multitasking. I'm gonna have to pause for the next one anyway to prepare for it, I think. Maybe not. But yeah, there's just so many people, man. It's like yeah, I'm like thinking two things, but no, fuck it, you know, I would say it's a good quote. Fuck it. I was saying about Goodreads, wasn't I? Sorry, yeah, so I went to his Goodreads course, and there's a few books. It's like this and The Fault in Our Stars, and I think those are the main books they quoted. I was like, man, I want to, like, what about that Will Grayson? I didn't even see any quotes from it, so maybe that book just sucks ass. Alright, I'm going to pause it here to go to the next one. Alright, I didn't have to pause for too long. I'll ask for the sticker on the top of the video. This is where they're going through people's room looking for porn. The bitches of Madison County. Well, ain't that just delightful? And then she talks about, by the time they started doing it, Asuka commenced with her righteous indignation. They just don't make sex look fun for women. The girl is just an object. Look at that. Sorry looking, needless to say. Blah, blah, blah. I couldn't help mental, Nate. The hand on her shoulder, just take a minute. Keep your grunting to a minimum. She said, God, Pudge, never do that hard. That would hurt. Psh, call yourself a fucking info. Looks like torture. Just sit there and take it. That's not a man and a woman. It's a penis and a vagina. What's erotic about it? Where's the kissing? Well, that's the point. Actually, let me show it before I do that. Let's, you can't even see her face. So what can happen, Pudge? That woman's someone's daughter. This is what you make us do for money. Well, not me. I mean, not technically. Oh, see, that's what... And she, like, starts passing out, I think. Oh, this is kind of a corny. I saw this quote on Goodreads, though. It's kind of corny, but I think it's ironic, though. She says this porn's objectifying women, but then it goes, and the very next part, she's like, it's just a penis and a vagina or whatever. But was like, dude, I mean, there's a whole thing about, men don't get paid well in porn. They're used as fucking stunt cock. I mean, the men get less fucking. They're the most objectified portion of porn. I think it's ironic. But yeah, they do make Alaska out to be kind of, not hardcore militant feminist, but slightly annoying feminist type. But it's like that. It's the hypocrisy of that kind of annoys me. It's like you can't. I mean, you're pointing it out, but you're not. All right, let's go. You know what? There is one thing. Since we're gonna talk about this, it's kind of like his little John Green's little thing. Not fuck. I want to sleep. Not fuck. I just want to like hold her. Not even have sex. Just sleep together. In the most innocent sense of the phrase. All right. This actually did remind me of what Katie Royfe said. She wrote this book called In Defense of Messy Lies. I think that was the one I read. But she points out, and there's also this article called Everyone Was Beautiful But No One Was Horny, which is interesting. It's how about people in movies nowadays, they all look great and look very attractive, but there's like no sexual desire in them. It's almost like sexual desire now is gross, so you don't see, like, even if they fuck, there's nothing sexy about it, and it just, made me think of what Katie Royfe said about, the new male writers versus old male writers who were considered sexist, but they at least had sexual desire, whereas now all of the men are so, I'm going like alpha males, bullshit. So I'm not trying to make that point, but I'm just quoting Katie Royfe, who is considered a controversial feminist writer, I guess. But she pointed out that she misses where, the sex was, the guy actually craved the chick instead of just like, I hope I'm not hurting you, hope we're just doing this, I just want to hold you mostly and, be, I don't know, man. It does come off as kind of, when I say try hard, that's even that, all those buzzwords. Make me go a rubbery one. Alright, I'm gonna cut it here, but I just thought of that. I need to read some more Katie Royfe. I thought she was pretty interesting reading her. This is where they're running away. They do this prank where they prank the eagle guy by lighting firecrackers, and then they take off running by the lake. And then it's like, where's the talking about? Blah, blah, blah. We ran. I hit the swan. Oh, yeah, so we see the swan in front of him. I hit the swan at full run, and it felt it bite into my ass. That motherfucker goosed him. I was running with a noticeable limp because my ass was on fire, and I thought to myself, what the hell is in the swan saliva? And he's like, I remember some wicked briar patches, but I was filling up. Can we pick thorns out of his leg? The fox is fucking tired. That's his nickname. And laughed. He was just foxing. The swan bit my ass. I told him I saw. Is it bleeding? Oh, maybe I haven't messed with swans. I just think of like geese, where people are afraid of geese, but I like grew up around them. My mom used to raise animals, they just like lower their head and run at you. I just can't imagine one just getting a solid fucking bite on your ass if you're an adult. I don't know, maybe it's happened. John Green, he writes a lot of his stuff in the South. You'd think maybe he's actually got bit on the ass by a swan. He seems like the kind of guy that would get bit on his ass by a swan, or a goose. I don't know. People are, I've just never been afraid of geese, even if they lower their head. Like, what are they gonna do to you, man? I've never actually had one attack me. They do their head lower thing. They come running at you. I remember that through my childhood. I remember they chase my friends like that, and they take off running. Here's some good points or quotes, we'll just get to it. In the long quiet that followed as we passed around the wine, blah blah blah, I began thinking about President William McKinley, the third American president to be assassinated. He lived several days after he was shot. And toward the end, his wife started crying and screaming, I want to go too. I want to go too. And with his last measure of strength, McKinley turned to her and spoke his last words. We are all going. Ain't that the truth? There's this quote in Michel de Montaigne where he's like, did you never think you would arrive where you never cease going? Let's see if it goes. Let's see. Pick up the phone. I thought the one that she must have done. Pick up the... Never even occurred to her. There comes a time when we realize that our parents cannot save themselves or save us. That everyone who wades through time eventually gets dragged out to sea by the undertow. That, in short, we are all going. feel like that where John Green, I think he was talking, there was this episode where they had this podcast together, and I listened to a few of those, and his brother Hank, surprisingly, I think, didn't know what eschatology was, and so he talked about that. So I think John Green does have this, same as I do, have this fascination with death. Alright, so now we're going to do one more quote, and I'm just going to cut here. And here he talks, at least there wasn't any pain, at least it was instant. And then he's like, and what is an instant death anyway? How long is an instant? Is it 1 second? 10? The pain of those seconds must have been awful as her heart burst and her lungs collapsed, and there was no air and no blood to her brain and only raw panic. What the hell is instant? Nothing is instant. Instant rice takes 5 minutes. Instant pudding an hour. I doubt that an instant of blinding pain feels particular instantaneous. And that's, that reminded me of when they say, I think it was during the French Revolution, they chop people's heads off and the eyes would still, be moving around, looking around. My goddamn place to mark keeps falling out. What the hell was that page? What page was that? No, I think I was at 175 there. Fuck it. Since I know, I'm just going to put this here so it doesn't, this isn't accurate in my place anymore. But, this is, so far, the least corny of his voice, I guess is the way to put it. There goes my damn thing. Flew out all the way now. Again. Alright. I did a pretty good job this time, I guess, of not. I tripped over myself once or twice, I guess, but man, that one time I did that math book, I think it was. I just kept tripping over myself. I was like, I just gotta fucking get through this. But yeah, this book's not bad. If you like John Green, I don't know, I'm even fucking talking. You know what? It's decent. Alright. Greg Huffman's book report. Bye.